like I said, we're going to talk about the federal government shutdown. Has anybody heard about that recently? Yeah, you're right here.
On both the nightly news and the Today show.
Okay. And what does that mean? What have they been saying about it?
They've been saying like it's been like a few days since the government has been shut down.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've heard that lots of people with jobs can't do their jobs until they get enough money for the government.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are people who are, it's called being on furlough, where you don't come into work and you don't get paid until, the government is up and running again. You talked about that the government needs more money right now. It's not that they need more money necessarily, they just have to decide how to spend the money that they do have. And that's a decision that Congress gets to make. And right now Congress is not agreeing on how the money should be spent, so the government is shut down until they can reach an agreement. So I've got a little scenario for your class. This isn't exactly the same as what the government's going through, but it's just something for you guys to talk about. Say that the school has a certain amount of money, and with that money you can have either a pizza party for your class or an ice cream party for your class, but you can't have both. They don't have enough money for you to have both.
Ooh.
Now half the class really wants pizza and half the class really wants ice cream. But if you don't decide by the end of the day one way or the other, you don't get a party at all.
Ooh.
So what would you do? How could you come up with a solution for that? Yeah.
Agree.
Agree, yeah. But you have to figure out what you would agree on.
Yeah. We could work together and see who wants like ice cream party and who doesn't, and then we could vote.
Okay, a vote. But say the vote is 50-50. How would you get some people to switch sides? How could you convince people to go for one party and for the other?
You could tell them maybe how things might be better in the other party.
Okay, yeah, good.
And,
Up over here.
Me?
Both of you can answer. Yeah, you can go first.
I have two things to say.
Okay.
Can we have an ice cream or pizza
No,
party?
No, this is just
This is just make believe. So that's
And I was gonna say they can see what's better for them.
okay. What would be better for the students?
Cream or pizza?
All right, you right here.
Okay. One party you can have pizza and then the other you can have ice cream.
You only get to have one.
yeah. You can't have both.
You have to pick one. Riley?
You could see what the principal wanted best, like what cost less money if
Okay.
they wanted to save some money.
So you think the principal should get to make the decision?
Yeah.
All right.
And the teachers, like they should kind of get to decide.
And it should be whichever one costs less money? Okay, that's a good idea.
Want to spend all the money.
Do other people think that would be a fair idea, or would you rather pick for yourselves what kind of party you wanted?
I agree.
How many would rather pick for yourself? How many would rather have teachers and Mrs. Schaefer decide? I did not expect that. Wow. Okay.
Any other ideas for a solution? No, that's a good one. Yep, you're right here standing up.
I think they should use half the money to buy some pizza and half the money to buy some ice cream.
But you can't do that, remember. You have to have one or the other. Remember
Yeah.
she said it's got to be one or the other. You can't have both.
All right, right here.
Like, if it's cold out, you might not want to have ice cream, so you should just get the pizza.
Okay, so think about some outside factors, see what kind of mood you're in.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, is it Emma?
I think that you could have the teachers and the kids decide, like, see how many teachers on one side, like how many teachers want pizza or ice cream, and then how many kids too.
Okay, so vote. And
Yeah,
then,
so both of them are deciding.
Okay. What are some ways that you could convince, like say if you're part of the group that really wants a pizza party, how would you convince people on the other side to agree with your group?
Because I want ice cream. So how are you going to convince me? Yep.
Well, you could just decide for people to come on your side by making people think about which is healthier.
Healthier, okay.
Okay. I like that.
talked about which side is healthier, which side costs less.
How do you already win?
Alexis?
It gives you a brain freeze.
No, we can't. Forget about that.
Thanks.
Okay, real quick, Emma, because we're gonna.
You could say we don't know if it's cold or warm on that day because
Let's say it's a day 3 to 1. So who can somebody give me a really good argument without, doesn't matter about melting all that
Thanks.
you can change my mind. Because right now I'm still thinking ice cream. I'm a little swayed by the cost factor, I will admit. Logan?
you could say
Not could say, what are you going to say?
try new things.
Okay, I tried pizza and I really like ice cream.
You could bribe someone with candy or money.
So some bribes.
So bribes, that's good, so we'll be in jail.
I'd like money.
It might not be the best way to convince somebody.
You can.
Alright, well yeah, so it's hard to convince people to switch sides if they've already got their mind made up. Yeah, we just wanted to give you this example to say, like, you would make a decision about what kind of party you wanted in your school, but this is supposed to be the same as Congress deciding which budget they want to pass, and that would keep the government going. So do you have any ideas for how they could come to an agreement?
You people aren't listening.
Think about it. It's the president.
So it's the president, so the president should have his way.
Well, the president's always right.
Could the people who want to use the health care, can they use it? Then the people who don't want to use it, can they not use it?
That's like the ice cream and pizza example. You can't have both. It has to be one way or the other. You have to either have money for the Affordable Care Act or not do it.
And by the way, you mentioned about, I have a good friend who's a teacher in Chicago, and their class had a big trip planned to the Capitol, and they had to cancel it. All those students, they made all these hotel arrangements, all these people. So how would you feel if you're those students? You're not going on your trip now. It's done. But think about one more time. I know it's hard, you're third graders, but think. You have the House of Reps here who's saying, look it, we don't like the health care plan. And then you have the president who says, look it, we already did this, the health care plan's in place. Both sides are like this, right? And neither side will agree. Sort of like the pizza and ice cream. So how are you going to try to convince the president or the House of Reps to say, look it, you need to agree with me? Now think about it seriously though. How are you going to do it?
You could see what would be best for the people, and then could you have the people vote and see which one they want?
That was what I was thinking.
That's an idea.
That?
Yeah, leave it up to
Me
the voters
too.
to decide. if they can
Or
do
then
it.
which one is best for the people?
I think October 17th is the day that if they don't come together, it's way more complicated for you, but anyway, that's a big date. So between now and then, something has to happen. So you're the House of Reps, and we have the president. You got to really, I'll give you one more shot because I know they're limited on time. So what are you going to do? What are you going to say? Everybody should be thinking about it. Yeah.
I think the president's right because we already decided what we're gonna do, so it's hard to try to change that.
Oh, so you're saying we already decided on national health care issues already been decided. We're doing it. Obamacare, as they call it. So why change, huh?
They could have a pop quiz. Who's smarter?
Oh yeah. Figure out which side is smarter and do whatever they say.
Yeah, I doubt that's going to
That
happen.
would be tough.
Yeah.
Pop
Somehow I don't see that happening.
All right. Anything else that you wanted to talk about with us?
Well, again, we haven't, to be honest, studied the government yet. We will be. This is at the beginning. We've talked about it a little bit, but for third graders, it's a tougher.
Yeah.
And I like the scenario though, ice cream. Now, what we are going to do though, the good news is for you is later on, like I said, after Christmas, you're going to write several persuasive papers, and those are convincing papers. So you're going to have to try to convince me why we should have more AR time. You're going to try to convince me why I shouldn't take away a recess because I think we need more school time. So you're going to have to be. So when you do that, you're going to have to think about reasons. Now this one is hard for you, but today we had a vote, and you had to make a decision. We've had to do that in a lot in groups, haven't we? You've had to decide, okay, remember we talked about consensus, which means what? What's consensus mean? If we have a consensus, does anybody remember?
Oh,
Consensus, yeah.
agreeing?
Who agrees? One person, a group, or everybody?
Everybody.
Everybody agrees. It's hard to get everybody to agree, isn't it?
How do people solve this stuff?
It's tough. We gotta see what they're gonna do.
See, the problem is they're not solving it right now. Because right now, the House of Reps, they're not, no one's really working real hard at it to get it solved. And my sister-in-law, I know friends that it's affected their jobs. They say that, by the way, they are not getting paid now. They say they will get paid, but right now they're not agreeing. And by October 17th, if they don't agree, it's kind of shut down the government time because they don't have enough money. So it's way more complicated. It's something you can talk to your parents about, but it's going to be a big, big deal here in just within less than 2 weeks.